What up, though, homies and homies? It's your homeboy Grand Tizzle. Welcome back to the lab. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscription button and that notification bell, because you're going to like what we got going on over here. Today, fam, we're going to dig a little bit deeper, dive more into the NFT program, the NFT journey, and we're going to take the graphic design skills that you already learned from your homie Grand Tizzle. We're going to take the Photoshop assets, and we're going to blend it and apply it with After Effects. And we're going to use Element 3D and come up with this beautiful, stunning looking, real quick to design NFT card, sports card, hip hop card, graphics card, whatever you want to call it. But this is the new move, this is the new wave, and I'm gonna teach you how to do it in just a couple minutes. All right, without further ado, let's get it popping. Okay, fam, let's start from scratch. I'm just gonna create a new comp, and that way you get a chance to see everything that I did from the scratch. Now, we already got some assets in here, but we're gonna do that from scratch too. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new solid. That new solid is going to be for our Element 3D. So we're going to go up here, go to Video Copilot, and hit up Element 3D. Now let's go ahead and hit Scene Setup, and go over here. Now, of course, I got a lot of design elements and things like that. We talked about that in the last video, but we're going to go to our primitives. This should be standard for everybody, and if you don't have it standard, it's somewhere you can download it right here. But here's the primitives, and you see all the basic tools here. We're going to use the basic tool right here, this here, and let's hit OK so we can see the orientation. Okay, so we see that it's turned. So let's go back over to our scene setup and turn it so it can face the camera. So what we have to do that is we can select the turn tool, rotation tool, hold shift, and we'll click, and let's see if that's orientated. Okay, so we got to click it one more time. I like to do it like that. As a matter of fact, we're going to do something else before we do that. Here, let me close this out. Let me set up this camera. We're going to do a new camera. We'll keep it at 35 millimeter. Hit OK. Okay, so we see the orientation, because I don't like to move things around, because then when we try to do the camera animation, it gets disoriented. All right, so let's go back to scene setup, and look like we're going to need to flip this one more time. So hold shift, drag that yellow so it can snap. Sorry, that was too much. Okay, so now it looked like it's going to be facing the camera, but we want it to face the camera here, so we can get an idea of how we work it. Let's hit OK to verify. Okay, so that's facing the camera. So now everything that we build will be a little bit easier to orientate. Okay, so with that, we're going to hold shift again and turn it up twice. Click, click. One. Sorry, sometime. Okay, right there. 1, 2, and then let's stretch it a little bit to make it like the size of a card. Okay, that's cool. It's kind of deep. We don't really need it that deep. Actually, I will come back and do some more tutorials where we is going to make them a little bit deeper. All right, I made a mistake. All right, so we'll just make it about like that. Okay, that's cool. And we're going to go over here now. Now, guess what? This is done. I can get a little bit more elaborate. If I wanted to, I can make like a, let me see, a box. Let's just put a box there. And then we can slide the box down. And this will just give it a base. It's like not necessary, but you know, it is what it is. Let's do a little extra. And maybe we can scratch it. Matter of fact, here, I'm gonna keep it open, because when we put the elements in there, we almost kind of want the elements to look like it's hanging out and doing some things. All right, that's cool. And then all we have to do is colorize it and add our monkey. So I got the monkey, should I say the gold ape. Let's click that, and we got our ape there. You see it's kind of small, so we're gonna have to scale it up. So while it's selected, we'll go here and we'll scale it. All right, let's pull back, and let's move her down or him down or whatever it is, and we'll hold that, click, click. I kind of like to keep things like really simple, so I'm always holding shift so that when I make a turn or something, it's like perfect, perpendicular, perfect. So I don't have to worry about orientation issues. But just for the sake of making sure this right, let's hit OK. Okay, good, that's good. And to move around, we select the camera and we click C. And as you toggle through C, every time you hit C, you're going to get a different camera setting. That's for orientation. That's for up and down, you know. But we're going to zoom in a little bit and kind of angle it. Okay, so guess what? All that work is done. Now that was done in 5 minutes. Now the hard part is really giving it a really good look, stuff like that. You want to pick certain elements. For example, our environment, we got him looking like this. So the environment is the reflection that you see, like the walls and stuff like that. I'm going to change the environment here by clicking that and clicking the environment. And I think if I can remember, I think I used, well, actually I can go back to the tutorial right there. I think that's the one I used, and I use that because it got a lot more reflection, a lot more things going on. So when we start adding our lighting, it could be like way more dramatic. And let's go ahead and just go to the presets, and let's kind of just go to our pro shaders, and we're pretty much going to kind of throw anything on there because the lighting is really going to kind of take care of the rest. So what we're going to do is, let's put this on there and see what that does. That's okay. Let's put it on the whole empty room. Okay, I would kind of like some contrast myself, so maybe let's see what silver does for the empty room. All right, that's not quite what I'm looking for. Here, let's do this real quick. I'm gonna hit OK. And we got that going on, but let me go back to the other comp just to remind myself. Okay, so it looks like we kind of got like just some brick. The reason why I kind of like that brick and I chose the brick last time is because the ambient occlusion, and the ambient occlusion is something that makes something shadowy. All right, makes it like, you know, you can shadows reflect and stuff like that. All right, that's not quite it. That's too shiny. Here, let me pause this until I find the right material, then we'll come back. Okay, so after picking through them, I decided to go, and I can go exactly what I did with the other one. Maybe I should just do that. But anyway, I decided to go with this gray empty wall, concrete wall. And we're gonna go to the UV and change that to box, keep perspective. That way nothing is kind of stretched, and we can kind of mess around with the UV repeat so we can kind of get a size that we want, proper texture size. And this is gonna have to be it for now. That's cool. And maybe, you know, for the sake of the tutorial, let's see, maybe we could put something fun down there, just something different. Okay, that's cool. I like that. That's working. Okay, and so now we're set with this. So now everything else that we're going to be doing is going to have something to do with the settings over here. So one thing we want to do, oh, I don't know why this is moving slow. Actually, I do know why it's moving slow, because I got this up. So I'm gonna actually have to pull this up and delete this. Hold on. Okay, I think we're fine. Yeah, okay, good. We're moving around again. And I can lower that to half. I got a pretty powerful graphics card, so I really should be okay. All right, now what we're gonna do from this point is kind of put some emphasis on making this look good. So let's put it on full. And we'll go over to our settings here, and so far everything there look good, but let's put on some not utilities. We ain't gonna use utilities yet. Render settings, and we're gonna go to lighting, and we're gonna put a dramatic lighting on here. Sorry about that. We're gonna put a dramatic lighting, either dramatic Okay, I like that, or cinema. Okay, I like cinema. And the reason why is because, as you can see, we have lighting. You know, I'm into filming. So, we talk about lighting and things like that. I like that I have a backlight here, So I like that. That's cool. Let's kind of, maybe we can bring it up a little bit. No, we want to keep it dark and shadowy. Let's rotate the light a little bit. See if we can get some really good highlights. I like the highlights here. You see how I move it left and right? We're getting some highlights going on over here and over here. Now, as a film director, I kind of pay a lot of attention to that. Also, these new, the new 3D designed elements and cards, they got a lot of lighting in it. I mean, professional lighting, and that's what's making it look fascinating. All right, so now I'm going to go over to the physical environment and kind of tweak that a little bit. Just kind of, make it dramatic-ish, shadowy. I kind of like that. What else can we do? Let's move the environment around and see what type of changes that make. All right, so we can kind of mess around with that to your liking. I'm gonna turn it until we get some highlights right here. All right, and that's cool right there. Now we're gonna do a few other things that's going to give some realism to this. One of the things we're gonna do, let's see, we already add the lighting here. Let me close this out. We mess with the exposure. Okay, cool. We're gonna go to the ambient occlusion. We're gonna cut that on. And you see how we added some shadows within the crevices and the corners and stuff? That is what give it this realistic look. Look, here's the before, here's the after. And we're gonna turn that up, turn the intensity up. Kind of overdo it a little bit so we can really like, oh, that's really real. Make it really, really look really real. And the more of this I add to it, the slower this is going to get. So, just bear with me. A lot of times we don't turn up the big settings until we is about to render. Then we come up here and turn up the multi-sampling and, all that type of stuff. Now, just to kind of talk about it a little bit, I'll just add a little bit more shadow. I keep encouraging everybody to learn more. So, especially if you're into graphic design, you want to learn, like I'm learning Blender right now, but you want to learn things like After Effects. You really should involve yourself in raising your knowledge level to be able to do other things, like so that you won't be behind. See, the people that do know how to use After Effects, they already have an advantage over everything and over everybody. And that is one of the primary reasons why I was putting emphasis on learning Photoshop. All right, enough with the talk. Let's continue on. I don't want to lose my concentration. So we got the ambient occlusion there. Let's see, reflection. We don't need that. Ray tracer. We don't need ray tracer because we're not using that. Okay, now let's go down to our output. We can adjust the sampling. Super sampling can be like at 2. Multi-sampling at 16. That's so we won't get jagged edges and stuff. But that ain't gonna really matter. Actually, here, I'm gonna turn it down just so we can kind of move around a little fast. Because once I start adding all of that, it gets real tricky. So we'll stay away from the super and multi-sampling right now, but you know what it means. All right. This is something that I like to mess with. I like to mess with the gamma here and the gamma texture. And depending on what you're trying to do, it can make it even more dramatic. You see that? That's almost kind of like film at 100, shooting film at 100 as opposed to 800. And it just give it a dramatic look. And then we can always lighten it up and brighten it up with other little things. All right. So it's cool with that. Let's turn up our specular. Our specular brings up the highlights, and the highlights add that drama. So when we turn down the gamma and we turn up the specular, we get kind of like that cinematic look and or feel. All right. And let's see, so the specular ambient light, we're not going to concentrate on that. All right, so everything look pretty ready. And we're going to put this on preview so that we can, oh, it still ain't letting me move around fast. Oh, there you go. Okay. A little faster, just a little bit. Since we got everything set up right now, we can put that back on half and we'll keep that at preview, because now what we got about to do, let me zoom out here. Now we're finna add the Photoshop elements. Now, the Photoshop assets, you can pick that up at, well, actually, I'm gonna have a link in the description so that you can get your hands on it. Now, the benefits of this, here's the ultimate here's the ultimate Photoshop Essential Toolbox. And if you want to know more information about it, just follow the link in the description. But what's cool is that everything that you need is possibly here. It's a time saver. If you don't, I don't think I've got it set up properly for Macintosh, but if you got a PC, when you order the assets, it'll look like this. The folders will have the titles. Also, the folders will have images on the folder so that you don't have to think about it. You can just tap into it and download it. Like, so we don't have to read nothing. That saves a lot of time. Like, we wanted some music, you know, we can just boom, and everything is here. And I'm always adding new tools to the elements and things like that. But this is perfect. Like, for example, if you was doing a band, if you was doing a sports card, or should I say a NFT card for a band, this will be perfect. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm talking too much. Got to get back to business. Let me delete that. We're going to start importing some of the elements that we're going to use for this. Now, so since this is, you know, the gorilla, we want the gorilla kind of to have some lifestyle images. So the first thing we're going to pull up is let's go ahead and pull up the Shine Pills name bottle. We'll pull that up. Okay, now that's a Photoshop layer, so we're gonna have to hit OK, and we're gonna have to deal with the whole Photoshop, you know, thingy. But we're pulling in here, and now we have here, we see that it's not 3D. So let me show y'all the steps that we're gonna have to do to match this up and sync this up with this 3D, because you can't just throw an element in there. Even if you turned on 3D, it's still not going to turn properly. You see, it's not a part of the 3D and 3D element. So what you have to do to blend it in there is you have to select the black solid, go back up to effects controls for your element 3D, and we're going to go to utilities. And once we hit utilities, we're going to hit this little, before we do anything, we got to select this, make sure it's put on 3D, and we got to go to our pan behind tool. Once we click that, we could take this, slide it down to the bottom right here. You see these 1, 2 in the middle, 3? You want to slide this down right here so that when you move and scale and do things like that, it's going to scale, but it's going to scale based to down there as opposed to the middle. And you'll understand better once we start, you know, putting things together. So let's go ahead now that's set up. Let's hit black solid. We're going to go over here to utilities, generate 3D position, and the pan tool. And then we're going to select the location where this is going to be. So we're going to click right here so that this can be attached to this. And then we hit generate. That's going to create a null for us. So now the null is attached to this 3D element right here. So it's attached. It did some type of programming and it attached itself there. So now all we have to do is hit P for position, click the position of the null object here, hold Control C for copy, and then we're going to go to my element here, the champagne glass. We're going to hit P for position, and we're going to paste this position to this position. So we hold Control V, and now that took my element and it attached itself to there. So now when we move the camera around, you see how now it's attached. And that's how we're going to get that 3D look and a vibe. Now, what we're gonna do for the sake of this tutorial is a couple things. First, I'm gonna select that and scale it down. So let's scale that down to say right there. And then we're gonna move it around kind of where we want it. So it's still gonna stick to this plane right here, but we can kind of still offset it a little bit. And I'm just gonna make a camera movement so I don't have to keep doing this, because I want to, after I assign my layer and I put it down somewhere, I want to be able to move it around without having to keep moving it around. So I'm going to go ahead and click that, transform. I'm just going to click everything just for the sake of moving fast. And we're going to move forward here, and I'm just going to turn it here, and then we'll move it up here, and then I'm going to just turn it there. And then, I'm going to click C, I'm going to zoom in, spin it a little bit like that. Maybe move it down, and then move 6 more, move it up, zoom it out, turn it. And I just keep hitting the C, C, keep changing up, my options there. Okay guys, we're back. I had to take a pause real quick because I had to go around and pick up my daughter. And this is a day later. Well, the power of editing. Anyway, let's pick up where we left off. So what we did was, if we play it back, well, I made some camera moves so I ain't got to keep, wiggling the camera back and forth. But anyway, this is the result. All right. So what we're going to do is, since we got that in 3D space, I'm going to show y'all a little trick where you don't have to keep running the script over and over again. Just select the copy that's already pinned down with the null object, hold Control D and make a copy, and then just slide it over. And what's cool about that, if we go back here, is that now we have 2 items in 3D space. And the cool thing, well, actually that looked actually kind of cool, almost like a mixtape cover or something. But I wouldn't use it like that with how we're doing it. Anyway, let's go get some more elements from my folder, the Ultimate Photoshop Essential Toolbox Shameless Promotion. Link is in the description. Anyway, let's see here. Let's pick something like there's somebody else logo. Let's see White Party real quick. And I'm only adding that because this kind of be a cool thing, like if the logo was named something. Anyway, so I'm getting off track. So after you import the PNG file or the Photoshop file or whatever you got, hold Alt and then click that PNG file or Photoshop file, drag it and drop it right in place of that. And what you did was you put everything exactly where it was. It's just now, instead of it being the beer and wine, the wine glass champagne, it is now the Photoshop PNG text file. So let's hit scale. Let's scale that down. All right, and let's back it up, see where the camera is. And now we have, look at that, look how cool. All right, and then what I like to do when it's like that, it's kind of locked into place, so you really can move it around now. Move it that way, move it maybe a little left, maybe even drop it down, right? And let's see what it does. See, that's cool. That's kind of cool. Now what I would do, and the other thing is that since it's already in an angle, it ain't gonna really look right, when we do it in a 3D, but that's kind of cool. Here, let's do this. Let's go back to our Essential Toolbox and pull up another fun little file. And let's see, I don't want to say burger, but I want to use something that's actually straight. Let's just say house, because it's actually kind of straight. You know what I mean? And we can do the same thing. Select house, hold Alt, drag it and drop it while you're holding Alt. You still got to hold Alt. And now we got house. See, that's sweet. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, that's better. And then you know what? I'm going to keep, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to keep house there, just because when we doing these type of things, you know, like a card, a sports card or something, we want to put the, you know, the text and text layer down there so you can kind of know what the theme and title is. If I had time, I'll put together something like gorilla, you know, or ape or real monkey or something. I don't know. But right now, this is just for the sake of the tutorial. So we'll slide this over. And then let's go back to the champagne bottle, hold Control D, make another copy, slide it over. And now we got really like a really nice looking, complicated looking thing. And it didn't take as long. I mean, the tutorial was about 27 minutes, but we didn't spend a lot of time really putting this together. No going to different software tools, you didn't have to go to a 3D place. Yeah, let's see what else fun we can pull up. What happens if I pull up, if we was doing like a Valentine's Day? Well, this is a gorilla, ain't no Valentine's Day, but you know, what if I just put that in there and let's hold the Gothic, click on the Gothic rose, hold Alt, slide it and replace it. And then let's hit the S so we can scale it. And we really got some really unique, and this is art too. You know, you got a gorilla and a rose in there. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, see, that's a cool, look at that. That's a cool vibe. Now, really, the initial one was money. So let me go ahead and place some money in there. So let's select that again. Let's go back to this again, since the script is already on that. Hold Control D, make a copy. We'll slide it over. And this one we're going to replace with some money. Now, we already got some money already pulled up. So I'm just going to hold Alt and replace that and pull that out. And we got the money game going on. And that's pretty much it, y'all. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And we can do a whole lot more stuff. You know, we can animate the background and, you know, all that type of stuff. But this is just a cool way. And this is also a really, really, really cool way if you're not doing NFTs and making a package. Because this is kind of like a box, a toy box, for lack of better words, just with a 3D, just a fun little element. Snoop Dogg and them did it. You know, a lot of people was doing it. But what's cool is that we're incorporating the whole 3D thing with the 2D, and we adding 2D elements with real 3D elements to really make our NFT pop. You know what I'm saying? But again, you can also use this idea and or concept with just flyers. If you're doing flyers for somebody on Facebook or something, it's going to be way more catchier to have their flyer kind of moving around like that. It's like it's going to 1,000,000% grab somebody's attention, and you can upsell, you can upcharge, you can do, you know, you charge your flyers for $50 to $100. But if you want to do it like this and you can show them this type of work, you can easily tax on another $30-$40, and it only took you a few minutes to put together. As you see, this took less than 30 minutes. All right, that's it, man. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up, but let's go ahead and thank you for watching, and let's close this out. All right, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to sub, like, and hit that bell so you won't miss a beat of that heat that I bring to my lead. Till the next time, see you in a minute, see you when I spin it. Peace.